Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake,
And
who is Hugo's bitch for this episode.
And all episodes, but this time it's in the forefront. And this is Ask Hugo, number 32. We've done 32 of these. It's too many.
This is about the time that your parents push you out of the basement, and then you watch Failure to Launch with them, and they go, "Aw, son, we still love you."
Anyway, today I'm here to answer more of your questions. Of course, ask me more in the comments. Let's do this.
Arfolomula. Change your fucking name. I don't know if you've answered this question before. Heck, I may have asked it before and had your answer. I have an awful memory and would have forgotten if you had. I'll probably forget if you do this time. Wow, this seems beneficial to everyone.
Yeah, I thought this guy not only has dementia, but not very good at asking questions in a succinct manner, so he definitely needs my help.
Also kind of oversharing. Yeah. Probably a weeb. Anyways, I've always been an atheist. My dad's always been an atheist. My mom's always been more of an apatheist/deist, though she was raised Catholic. I'm glad I know about her life. So I have no idea what it's like to lose religion. What was that like for you, Hugo? I'm curious. Also, on that topic of sneezy speak, what? Sneezy speak?
It's because in the last one I was talking about saying bless you when people sneeze.
Oh, okay. I like to say Gesundheit because it's a German wishing for health, or I'll say Siniesta because it means you sneezed, because some jerks get upset about Gesundheit. So you reply with a sneeze with, you sneezed.
Yeah.
Like, that seems more rude. Now answer my question or don't, no skin off my back. Okay, we can move on then. Boop.
Okay. This is actually an interesting question about what it's like to lose religion. I think I've talked about before, briefly at least, what it was like when I stopped being Christian. But actually, I don't think I've ever talked about what internally it's like. And this might not be the same for everyone, but I can at least share a little bit of how I felt at the time. It was high school for me. And when I was younger, I'd gone to a very Christian Baptist school, and I believed it completely. That God, Jesus, all that jazz. When you stop believing in that stuff, at least for me, because it was a big part of my internal map of the world, if that makes sense. You know, we all have our own internal model of what the world and how it works.
I like to imagine mine like a treasure map drawn in crayon.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But it's a complete shift in your model of reality, basically. At least for me, life was, in my head, okay, I need to get through this, and then when I die, I'll go to heaven, and that's the important part, because that lasts for eternity, right? And of course, I know it's ridiculous, but that
makes sense, though. I mean, if you're gonna put a value on something, and those things are real, of course, yeah, you'd be like, well, yeah, I just kind of make my way through this.
Yeah. As opposed to now, and after that, I had to figure out, okay, well, that's not the case. This life is the only life I have. How do I do that? It's a complete.
Hold on. You valued your life like I value a trip to the DMV.
Yeah, pretty much. It was. Just gotta wait in long lines. Whatever. It's
and then at the end, it's like, please kill me.
Pretty much, it is. It's sad, but that was the case. It creates a complete reevaluation of what you and the things you do are worth and what you should enjoy and stuff. And that's just for me. It could be different for other people, but it really does put things in perspective and make you rethink the way you look at yourself and the way you're living your life. And obviously, this is just high school. It's not like I was in my 30s and had a family and I had to, but still, at the time, it was a big deal for me and I had to deal with that. And actually, I went to therapy for a while, and part of it was, I have depressive tendencies anyway, but also I was dealing with that, and I just had no idea what to do or where I was going, or,
Was your therapist an atheist?
Oh my God, the worst thing?
They were a Christian?
They were they were a Christian. It was
Christian.
It was a Christian counseling.
Oh, good. Did your parents set you up with that? That makes sense. That sounds about right. That sounds like Mama Hugo.
Yeah, I don't know if that was intentional or if it was just an insurance thing, because our insurance provider at the time.
Your insurance says only Christian therapy?
No. It was, because that's the thing.
I get it. He's probably covered. Makes sense.
He was like an actual counselor. It wasn't like in a church. He had an office. It's just that his counseling happened to be focused on that.
That's why AA doesn't work for a lot of people, by the way, because not a lot of people are religious enough to take that shit and run with it.
Yeah. But anyway, that's just my experience. I'm actually curious, anyone in the comments, what was your experience when you stopped being religious for one reason or another? Like, what was that like for you? I'm actually curious to hear people's stories, so let me know in the comments.
My kind of conversion to non-religion there was a lot of crying and placental fluid. My cock 5. Fuck you. God damn it. My cock 5. What do you think about fetishes like vor? Not necessarily the really hardcore or gory versions of it, just safely swallowing another creature whole. You know, like a goldfish. Or what else? What other creature could I possibly swallow whole? A baby chicken. You gotta nair it first, though, so it's smooth.
This person makes me realize that each day we stray farther and farther from God's light.
Vor, by the way, is devouring things, like... Right?
Yeah, it's like a fetish where, like, it's like cartoon drawings of people getting eaten.
Right. Maybe. I've also seen, it's people getting eaten or you eating something like that. Yeah. But it has to be like this size dominance thing, right?
Okay, listen.
It always seems like it's not like at least when I see it, because I don't partake, but I see it on like Twitter or whatever. So the internet is just garbage. So I've come across it, and it always seems like it's a swallow whole thing, not like someone getting mauled by a shark.
No, I've seen ones where it's like the person goes through the digestive tract, and it's like. Yeah.
Right, but the whole person, right? Not the whole person, not like a leg.
I've seen,
and then they're just there like writhing in pain, like, oh, I'm so fucking horny, you ripped my leg off and ate it.
Oh man, the Attack on Titan Rule 34 vor porn must be nuts.
Fuck, that's probably crazy.
But anyway, I don't care. Fetishes that I don't share, I actually think are pretty funny. Like it's cool as long as you're not hurting anyone. It's totally awesome.
As long as you don't actually like eat pets whole, you know what I mean? Like, you're fine. It's probably fine. Just I don't know why stick to the cartoon shit.
I don't know why you're going pets. It's always people. I've never seen animal. Actually, I have seen furry vor, but
what I've seen, like, the Asian porn where they stick goldfish up in.
That's not.
I eat fishes. No, but the other one where they'll eat like animals whole and then regurgitate it up, like it's still alive. Is that vor? Does that count?
No, I think
I've
that's
seen
different.
That as porn before.
I mean,
anyways, whatever. You fucking weird person. My cock. You're a weirdo, but that's okay. I'm not. You could be a weirdo. Just embrace the fact that you're a weirdo. Yeah.
Shout out to our clown fetish porn fan.
Quinn gets a lot of love on this show. For two guys that have never watched her her porn, we should probably start watching her religiously because we talk about her a lot. She interacts with us on the social medias a lot, and she's a nice person.
She is.
And I enjoy our conversations. But every once in a while, a fetish will come up, and it's probably something she covered. Seriously, go check out Miss Quinn, or at Miss Quinn on Twitter, and if you have a fetish, I'm sure it's covered. You're welcome for the business, Quinn.
I accidentally saw her vagina yesterday.
Oh, I've seen a nip, but that doesn't really make me uncomfortable. It's like seeing a friend's vagina.
It is. It was weird. I was like, oh,
that's
no.
That's weird. Like, I don't want to see your girlfriend's vagina.
It was like,
I just don't want to. I know her enough to not want to. You know what I mean? Like, there's like a bell curve, right?
Yeah, it was weird.
Like, if I'd never met her, like, fuck it, I'll look at the inside of your vagina. I don't care. But now, no, we're cresting. It's no vaginas for me. Anyways,
it was weird because I still felt like, oh no, I shouldn't be seeing this. But like, it was on her website as a teaser
where she does that
to her porn,
right?
Because she posted something on
Twitter. She
doesn't
care. We care because we're insecure.
Yeah,
anyways,
true.
The Frostbite 324 as Hugo. Dear Hugo, I'm 15. You should ignore everything we just talked about.
Yeah. Oh, I think we have a 12-year-old later too, by the way. But.
Oh, good. Just bringing the whole middle school in. I'm 15 and an atheist. Obviously, that's not necessarily obvious. We have thousands of Christian fans, so my family knows this. My mother's okay with it, mainly because she believes in the bullshit that when I face hardships, that I'll turn to God immediately. I mean, if that gets you out of an argument. Now, there's one catch to me being an atheist. I'm forced to go to church. I don't have a problem with going since the teenage youth group isn't that bad and is pretty fun, even though I don't believe in what they preach. Occasionally, the pastors will put us into groups that make us talk about our relationship with God and randomly put a microphone to somebody's face to talk about the topic. Luckily, I haven't been put into that situation, though if I were to, what should I do? Should I come out clean or say something that would make everybody dramatically gasp, or should I lie? I know it seems easy to just lie, but in my mind I want to say something because if I've learned from my experience and your show along with many other atheists, in your opinion, what should I do? That second to last sentence doesn't really make sense to me, but I get the essence. You don't want to lie. But maybe you should just to shirk the kind of bullshit that'll come from it. My personal little tidbit before Hugo gets into it is do what makes you least uncomfortable.
Pretty much. But also, we always preface with this. If you're in a situation where if your family found out you're an atheist, it would make life difficult for you. I would say wait until you're living on your own.
Yeah, that includes your community and close friends and stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily... Like, your living situation is our number one concern when it comes to this, because sadly people do suck.
Right.
But if your mom knows and thinks that eventually you're going to turn to Jesus anyways, obviously I think your parents is probably... You say your family knows and your mom's fine with it, so it's probably fine.
Yeah, but it could go two ways with this. One is just lie, make it easier, whatever. I totally understand that. Two is the funnier option, in my opinion. I kind of want you to do this just to let me know what happens. Stirs some shit, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but be honest and be like, hey, no, I don't really have a relationship with God. I'm actually an atheist. I don't believe any of this. I just want to see what happens, if I'm being totally real. If you decide to do that, be prepared.
You gotta be really chill, though. You can't go on the offensive and be like, why do you believe in God?
No.
Thor is just as believable. You just gotta be like... And if anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And maybe you'll get some tough questions that make you reevaluate, which is totally fine. I'm not invested in whether or not you believe or not. I'm pretty sure that at this point, you're 15. You're not really a person yet until you're like 21. I'm not kidding. Like the 15-year-old me and everyone I knew when they were 15, dumb. Just the dumbest. And I'll probably think that again when I'm 35. But for now, I really don't think you make real life decisions until you're in your 20s. So I'd say just go with the honest approach if there's no danger to you, and but just don't be an asshole about it, because that's a good way to alienate every single person you know.
If you do that, be prepared to be bothered by a lot of well-meaning people, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of people will, by the way, they think your eternal soul is at stake.
Yeah. But anyway, if you do that, let us know. I'm actually curious.
Also, before you do that, pocket the cookies, because they might put a cookie threshold on you, like an embargo on atheists eating their grandma cookies at the church.
Honestly, that policy though kind of bugs me in the first place. Even Christians, like there are people who just don't like to talk in front of people, so that's douchey as fuck. That's not cool. Weirdly enough, I'm very uncomfortable speaking in front of people, which is weird.
You did really well at any of the live things we've ever done.
Yeah, though, so. I put on a facade. I pretend I'm not like internally.
Hugo goes into game mode.
I gotta pretend. I gotta pretend to be Hugo. You know what I mean? Like, not
you're always. The thing is, this isn't an act. This is how you are.
But you know what?
It's just in the comfort of your own home, or to me, it's not usually in front of people at like a bar.
No, but,
like me, I'm just like this all the time, anyways.
No, but like
regardless.
I gotta pretend I'm like. How do I put this? It is
confident.
Me. Yeah, I gotta pretend to be confident, which is the furthest thing from myself that there is.
That is interesting. That is interesting, and that's true, by the way. You learned a little bit about Hugo today.
Yeah.
Aspen Shadow, who I know without looking at the comment is definitely a furry. The fictional LGBT character question reminded me of Orphan Black, a show that features my own favorite LGBT characters. It mainly focuses on human cloning, which leads me to ask, would you support human cloning and or gene manipulation to create an elite human being, or even tailor kids' looks and sex to fit a parent's desires if it were possible? You're talking about kind of like designer babies, which is a thing that you can do right now. The cloning's a little bit, I'm pretty sure it's feasible, but not a lot of people think it's moral. It's
interesting. I'm totally in favor of like designer babies and shit, especially as the technology gets better and you can control more and more stuff. There are ethical problems, though. This is interesting. There was a show, I forget what it was called. It didn't last very long. I don't even know if it went a whole season, but it was a good idea. I think it was early 2000s. It was a Law and Order type show procedural courtroom drama, but it took place in the year 2050. So the premise was basically every episode there's a new ethical dilemma, and one of the episodes was designer babies are now the standard, pretty much. Everyone, to get rid of genetic diseases and stuff, gets to pick.
Like Gattaca as well?
Yeah. And in that episode, a doctor was getting sued because a couple's baby was gay. And one of the things they can...
I like that in 2050 that's an issue.
Yeah, but one of the things was they found the gay gene in the future and found out what genetic markers make someone gay, and they can remove them. So obviously there are almost no gay people anymore because, let's be real, I love everyone, including gay people, but if it were...
I guess who's choosing that for their child? Like, who's thinking, I want them to fuck butts or scissor?
It's not something...
Yeah, I guess. I would assume, based upon just how speciation works and how people view reproduction, I think straight would probably win out there.
Yeah, and it was interesting because the doctor's defense ended up being, I have an ethical obligation to let gay people be gay if that's what the genes are, because gay people were basically being, air quotes, wiped out. It was like...
that's interesting.
He talked about it, and he was calling it, like, pre-birth genocide, something. I wouldn't go that far, but it does, when you can choose what people will be before they're born, genetically, looks, strength, smarts, whatever it might be, it does cause maybe issues, especially when we're talking about, right now, the wage gap is a huge issue between rich and poor. The middle class is shrinking, and the disparity is getting bigger.
For just a second, everyone in the comments, their assholes puckered, and they were going to be ready to be like, fucking wage gap doesn't exist, Hugo. Fuck you, shitlord. Blah! And then they had to delete their comment before they...
And this gap is only going to increase because designer babies, when they do become a thing, I think it'll become cheap enough for everyone eventually. But at least at first, of course, rich people are going to do it more so. So then you're going to have rich people having kids that are on the whole smarter, better looking. You know what I mean? Already born with these advantages, which is only going to increase the wage gap and make the problem worse. So it really becomes an issue of when this does happen, and it will happen. This is an issue of if. It's an issue of when. How are we going to deal with this? What's going to happen when we essentially have two classes of people?
Right. And you could say, oh, just outlaw it. But if, say, China doesn't outlaw it, which I can't imagine they would, or Russia would definitely not outlaw it, suddenly you're falling behind over the long scope because they are doing it. So it's an interesting dilemma to have right now. What I do think, though, the one benefit to the human race, antibiotics are coming near the end of their lifespan because people don't finish their fucking regimens because people are stupid. And you're getting these superbugs. You could, in theory, genetically eliminate those of being able to affect negatively human beings. And that's really where the genetics is going to go next. I personally, I don't know. I'm kind of torn because I'm not a supermodel, and kind of the idea behind reproduction is that you want to pass on your DNA as kind of this survival imperative. And if it's not actually really you, it kind of defeats the purpose of reproduction. I do think, though, that it would kind of keep people from reproducing as much. Just kind of because of let's wait until we can afford to give it, like, six-pack abs for life. You know what I mean? Or a genius intellect. I do agree with you, though. I think it would be quickly... classist.
Yeah, either way, I think in the long term it's a good thing. If we can eliminate genetic diseases, make people smarter, make people healthier with this, that's awesome, and that's a great place for us to go as humans. But like any time we've developed amazing technology, there are hurdles, there are ethical questions, but I think hundreds of years from now, 1,000 years from now, assuming we're still around in some capacity, I think it'll be looked back on as a positive. It's, no matter what, I think it's a good thing.
Right. I mean, that's up there with the invention of vaccinations.
That's maybe bigger,
at a level of importance. Yeah. Well, it could eradicate all disease, at least that we know of right now. I'm sure life will find a way to fuck us over eventually, or we could get this weird zombie thing going on. That'd be fun. So look forward to either Star Trekian Utopia or The Walking Dead, but with beautiful people. So The Walking Dead. Jonathan Johnson says to Hugo, If you guys were to run for president and vice president, who would be which? Also, if you guys were a gay couple, who would be top and who would be bottom? We get the fucking top-bottom question all the time, and our answer is always the same. I gotta be bottom, Hugo would rip. Anyways, the president-vice president thing is very interesting, mostly because you're not eligible to be either for many years. And I have like 2 elections before I could legally run. Let's assume the age is wiped away, though. Age wiped away. It's safer to put me at vice president.
Really?
But I'm quickly turning into Dick Cheney on you. Like, real quick.
I was going to say I want to be vice president because I want to set the record. I want to beat Joe Biden and creeping on young women.
Yeah, I feel like what we should do, honestly, is I'll start the presidency. I'll go 8 years, and then we'll just swap it.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll have one of those designer babies made from the 2 of us, and then we can be both first men in the White House from our age quickened 35-year-old Jake Hugo baby.
Okay, I'm on board. Good plan.
Yeah. If it ages at twice the speed and we do it in the first term, that's 32 years old. All we need to do is, like, stay in office against their will for 3 years to make it work. Also, benevolent dictatorship is the best form of government. It's not presidency. It's not democracy. Fuck you guys. I'm better than you. Alice Rederick? You have a bad last name. You should change it. To Hugo. Dear Hugo, that's Hugo's last name. Hugo. Dear Hugo, do you have any guilt for once having believed in any bigoted ideas? If so, how do you deal with it? I ask because I was raised in a disgustingly conservative household and was once a bigoted little shit as a kid. It becomes harder and harder to deal with my guilt for once being racist, sexist, homophobic, and ableistic. Waste of human being as a child. Waste of human being as a child. Whatever.
I can't personally say I have, because even when I was a Christian, I wasn't, like, anti-gay or anything. Like, I wasn't, like...
You pretty much don't give a shit about anyone.
No, it's cool. Do what you gotta do.
Just do your fucking things, yeah. Like, if what you gotta do is suck another man's dick while another one's fucking you in the ass, then you're the middle, that's fine, do you. And him and him.
But honestly, I don't think you should feel guilty for that. That's not your fault. You're a product of your environment in that case. And,
right.
and the point is that you grew beyond it. You shouldn't feel guilty that you once held positions that were taught to you by your shitty parents. You should feel better about yourself that you grew out of that and decided, hey, no, I'm a better person than that. I don't believe that. That's great. Don't feel guilty. Be proud that you grew as a person. That's what I would take out of it. Like,
also, ableist, like, there are things that are ableistic, like thinking that person's a piece of shit for being in a wheelchair. That's obviously ableistic. But thinking that person couldn't run a marathon is not ableistic. That's just true.
Yeah.
Unless they get those blade legs like that guy that shot his girlfriend.
Oh, did he shoot his girlfriend? I didn't hear about that.
He shot his girlfriend.
Holy
what?
shit.
That was in Bear. That was a bit in Bear.
Bear?
Jim Jeffries?
Oh!
Jim Jeffries. Yeah.
Yep. I remember.
Yeah, but as far as the racism, I don't really have any, like, that was probably the one thing I ran into most. Sexism, homophobia, and ableism definitely were not encountered by me as a child. My dad's a little homophobic. I think my mom once said years ago, like this is the 90s, my dad would disown me if I was gay, but I don't think that would be true. It's fine, I disowned him first. Beat you to it, fucker! But racism I did run into a lot. My dad actually had a black friend growing up. I can't remember his name. Like a really good friend that was a black guy, and they worked together. And eventually, my dad had to fire him for this or that. And so I thought, and this doesn't really have anything to do with that guy specifically, but right around that time, we were watching basketball together, and he said that it was a black guy sport, which I found offensive. And so I was like, hey, fuck you. I'm like 12, and I said, hey, fuck you. Like, it's not a black guy sport. Fuck off. And I don't know, just random stuff. I remember one time this guy, he was the racist of our class. I won't say his name. Let's call him K. You guys can debate as to what his name actually was, and it wasn't Kyle. So I beat you. But he had this joke, and he said, "When's the only time you wink and smile at a black person?" Although he probably said nigger, now that I'm thinking of it. Anyways, because he was super racist. He was like genuinely racist. Probably still is. And then he just kind of lifted his arms up like he was holding a gun and was winking and smiling. And that, I thought, I was like, oh my God, you're such an asshole. Like, but I started laughing because it was so bad. Like, and right next to me is one of the 3 black kids we graduate with, and he's laughing, and I'm laughing, and then the substitute teacher who we called Mrs. Saddlebags, because she had giant tits that hung down to her fucking belly button, she looked at me and said, "Mister, you're asinine." And I'm like, what the fuck? That guy told the racist joke. I was laughing because the black kid was laughing at the racist joke because it was so racist. Anyways, so that's my racist story. I don't feel guilty about that one fucking bit. It was a hilarious joke in context because he told it to the black kid who thought it was hilarious. Anyways, moving on. Last question. Morgan asks Hugo and apparently me, "Hi, Hugo and Jake. I recently met a Christian who said that Christopher Hitchens and all legitimate sources admit that there are no contradictions in the Bible." Christopher Hitchens said that?
No.
No. You're crazy. Is what he said true about Hitchens? No. We could skip that part. And do you guys know how I might disagree/discuss this with the guy? He said he was very open to discussing religion in the Bible in a way that is productive. Thank you. You're not prepared for this, obviously. You shouldn't do that at all. He'll destroy you. No, he's wrong about... I don't know. Honestly, he's probably quote mining Christopher Hitchens somewhere where he's facetiously saying the Bible is inerrant. As for the... I have... The legitimate sources that say it has no contradictions is ridiculous. We're a legitimate source now, according to me. So if you watch our Bible study, you will know that there are a fuck ton of contradictions. Maybe he was saying that, like, did Christopher Hitchens believe in the historicity of Jesus? Maybe. He was kind of skeptical about that too, so I don't know. I honestly, I have no idea where the Hitchens stuff is coming from.
No, if you honestly want to have a discussion with this guy, I'd go just Google biblical contradictions. There's a million lists out there. You can find them. Find some decent ones. You could talk to him about it, ask him questions. We've talked about this before. The best way to talk to someone about religion when you're an atheist is generally ask them questions, kind of Socratic method that shit. Talk about it, try and mine for their opinions, why they feel the certain ways about things. Get them to think about their own positions in a way maybe they haven't before. Either way, this guy...
Give him the Noah's Ark quiz, by the way.
Yeah.
And if he fails, just be like, well, looks like you don't know shit. If you don't remember the Noah's Ark quiz, it's how many days was the boat on the water? What did his peers think about him making the boat? And how many animals were on the boat? And the answers to all those are in our, 3rd episode.
I believe
4th.
The boat was on the water for 11 months. Not 40 days and 40 nights. That's how long it rained.
The peers never are mentioned in the Bible, and it's 7 pairs of every bird, 7 pairs of every unclean animal, 7 pairs of every clean animal. That means they're fit for sacrifice, and 2 pairs of every bird, I believe.
No, it's 2 of every just animal in general, 7 pairs of birds, and then 7 pairs of clean.
No.
Because they use them to sacrifice and to eat.
You said 7. You said 2 of every animal in general. That's not true.
No, it's 2 of every. It's 7 pairs of birds, 7 pairs of clean animals, and then 2 of everything else.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there you go.
So
that makes more sense in that order.
So that's the end of this episode. As I said, ask us more questions in the comments. Right down there.
Right down there. Ask Hugo about ghosts.
Please do.
Especially if you're sincere, because you're dumb. I like it. Makes me feel superior.
If you want to help us support fair use, you can always go click over to our GoFundMe, where we're doing our lawsuit against the Cristiano Films Group. We did some videos on...
We should have news for you guys pretty soon. Nothing we can say right now, but expect it in the next week or so.
Yeah. You can always follow us on Twitter at Bible Reloaded.
You can follow Hugo at Hugo Reloaded, and you can also subscribe to the channel, and maybe we'll answer your shitty question on this shitty program. Yeah. It'll be real shitty.
You can also donate to our Patreon campaign. We do a once-a-month Patreon-only hangout, and that's a lot of fun. That's actually going to be, of the day this is uploaded, tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern. Check your Patreon messages or emails or whatever for the link.
Woo!
So, until next time, I'm Hugo.
I'm Jake.
Bible Reloaded. Ask Hugo.
Yay.